Hi everyone! Many of you asked me about which career of psychology to choose, which one is the easiest, which one earns better. So today I'm gonna try to answer them all and present to you quite a few psychology careers you can go into, together with the salaries and responsibilities of yours if you're gonna go into these careers. I hope you're gonna find this useful. If you want to know more about the psychology degree and advantages and disadvantages of studying psychology degree in the UK, you can take a look at my video here. I'm really grateful for the community I have, so if you have any questions, please comment me down below and I'm gonna answer them individually. So let's get started. 6 years ago, in 2016, I've applied to University of Bedfordshire and I studied BSc Bachelor of Science in Psychology. The psychology was general psychology. I didn't choose any path, so there were other courses like counseling psychology or forensic psychology. I've decided to go for the general because I didn't know what to do and where to go. I didn't want to pick something and be unhappy with the choice. So just so you know, if you're gonna go for the psychology, you don't have to work in psychology after graduation. Many people think that if you're going to a psychology degree, you're gonna be a psychologist. It is false, and people don't expect you to be a psychologist, although there is a stereotype of you going for the psychology degree for this purpose. However, I am not working in the psychology environment. I am working in education, and this is really related to what I've learned on my consumer psychology masters as well. So just a heads up, I did my master's degree in Anglia University and I did my Master of Science MSc in consumer psychology. I chose consumer psychology because it was very general. Literally, I can go into companies, education, I can even go to professional practices and use my knowledge of the human behavior, of consumer behavior everywhere. So that's why I wanted to have the range. And talking about the consumer behavior, that's one of, and I'm gonna talk about as the first one, the type of psychology you can go after, whether it's a master's degree that you're gonna go into consumer psychology or get work experience after the Bachelor of Science of Psychology. So what is a consumer psychologist? A consumer psychologist is a mental health specialist who focuses on consumers' behavior. They study consumer needs and wants and factors that affect purchasing habits so they can understand how to influence them. Consumer psychologists will not earn a lot at the beginning unless they have some experience. So ideally you need to get some experience related to consumer psychology. It depends what you want to do. If you want to do research, if you want to go into academia, or if you want to go into marketing or consumer insight or food related consumer, there's so much you can do with consumer psychology. The basic salary will start with probably the internship would be around £15,000. But an experienced consumer psychologist can earn from £30,000 to £50,000 a year. And obviously it depends if that's a public or private sector, whether it's an agency or a global agency. So it all depends, but this is the range, £30,000 to £50,000. Moving on to my second favorite, which is the health psychology. I really wanted to go and study health psychology. What health psychologists do? So they are really similar to consumer psychology because they do change behavior based on the research they do. So they all do research. They need to all have the statistical knowledge, at least a little bit, to conduct research and take action on that. Health psychologist is mostly focused on chronic illness, any lifestyle changes, pain management, smoking, any addictions, behavior change, interventions, any type of obesity or any other eating disorders. Health psychology is in that. Also, you can of course work within public sector such as hospitals, but also private sector, one-to-one, individually, doing coaching or anything like that. When it comes to the salary ranges from £30,000 to £37,000 a year, up to 47 in public sectors. Of course, you will get more if you're gonna be in private sector. And if you're gonna have bonuses on top of it, this doesn't include bonuses. Moving on, to occupational psychology. You can earn from 18,000 to 29,000 for the beginners. Then we've got experts, which can earn 35 up to 80,000 pounds. But if you work in private sector, you will get way more as an occupational psychologist. So what do? They focus on how people behave at work. They are working on how to increase productivity, job satisfaction, overall effectiveness of the organization. Any workplace related research, personal selection, any training or motivation is more about the corporate. That's why the name is organizational psychology. From that, we are moving on to coaching psychology. To be a coach, you don't need much. However, it would be nice to have qualifications that will help you to be a good coach. Majority of coaches are working independently as a self-employed or in private sectors, giving one-to-one coaching or group coaching. Coaching psychologists also can work in education as well as workplace, like organizational psychologists. However, they are more focused on the individuals, their development, their personality, their achievements themselves in general. They are different to therapy. Therapy is more focused on the past, coaching is focused on the future. So coaching is focused on the future of the individual or a group. When it comes to the salary, they can earn up to 30,000 pounds if they're working publicly. However, if you're gonna earn more if you are private entity, private self-employed, or working for the private agency, then obviously there's no limit. There are many coaches earning millions, literally charging 2,000-3,000 pounds per session. So if you're good enough, if your personal branding is incredible, you can go for these kind of prices for sure. Now we're moving on to the educational psychologist. Educational psychologists are working in schools mainly. They're helping children with their learning, emotional needs. They're doing consulting with parents, any type of problems at school children might have. They're there to support them. The salary ranges from 23 to 30,000 pounds a year for a beginner, but that's usual salary for any type of school position. From education, we are moving to therapies. So let's talk about mental health professionals. I give you a summary of coaching. So coaching is focused on the future. However, the mental health and psychotherapy and counseling is all focused on the past. So all of the traumas, all of the pain from the past of the person, of the individual, that's where the mental health psychologist is coming from. They tend to earn more just for the fact that they need to have way more qualifications to actually be able to dig deeper into the person's soul and their roots. And therefore it's way more dangerous to dig inside the person. There's more safeguarding involved. There's more danger that we're gonna do some damage to the individual if we're not gonna do it properly. So that's why there's more emphasis on qualifications, on certificates, on training, on experience. Clinical psychologists work with high intensity therapies. They reduce the stress of a client. They're working with anxiety, addictions, eating disorders, depression, mental illnesses, neurological disorders. They're working with deep stuff. There are different bands within mental health psychology, as in the salary wise. For example, the band 6 is 30,000 pounds. That's the minimum that the practitioner can get in public sector. An expert can get from 44 to 60,000 pounds a year. And again, it all depends if you're working in a public sector, like a hospital, or private, like your private self-employed company or an agency. Now we're moving on to forensics criminal psychologist. These psychologists usually work with victims of crime and general public in relations to the fear and crime. They conduct research, they attend court, they might be detectives, and they might be an office prisoner. They might work in prison or in the police. They're dealing with hard stuff as well, basically. The basic salary ranges from 27 to 34,000 pounds. Experts can earn from 38 to 44,000 pounds a year. And last but not least, the sport and exercise psychologist. They can help athletes develop strategies to deal with nerves, anxiety, self-confidence, concentration and motivation. They set up activities to improve the team and individual performance. They support athletes in coping with injuries. So this is just a brief explanation of 8 most popular psychology careers that people are choosing after psychology degree. Just remember that all of these categories require special qualifications, special training required to be this person, to be the psychologist that you want to be. If you're planning to be a psychologist in the UK, but you're an international student, you need to remember and you need to take a look at the course that you're applying for, if it is BPS accredited, so it's a British Psychological Society accredited. If it isn't, it's going to be really hard for you to apply for any masters and any other qualifications, and for the actual accreditation of the psychologist in the UK. I will just list quite a few other professions you can go into that I haven't mentioned, but they are not necessarily any type of psychologist. It's more of where people are going after psychology degree. So for example, you can go and work in HR, which is human resources or human resource management. You can be a police officer. You can go into marketing. You can be a social worker, career advisor, a detective, educational consultant, a life coach, market research or researcher, neuroscientist, special education needs coordinator, or any kind of special needs assistant. You can work in NHS, media, any commercial industry, any government type of policy or policy making regarding health or forensics or education. You can work in prisons, be a teacher, anything you can think of you can do after psychology, as long as you do the right masters and have the passion to do it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Just comment me down below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. That will help me tons. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!